Welcome to Women Who Rock with Success, a digital media source for professional and entrepreneurial women. Did you know that we can be found on Google Play, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Sam's Broadcasting, AutoCast, and more? Women Who Rock with Success airs live each Tuesday at 9 a.m. Central Time, followed by our latest brand, Women Who Rock Investigates. We handpick professional women in many areas who can provide credible information in their field to build your business and lifestyle. To learn more about us, just visit our website at www.womenwhorockwithsuccess.com.
And good morning and welcome to Women Who Rock with Success. This is your host, Ms. Diane Winbush, and we thank everyone for tuning in this morning. So we, trying to get over the pandemic, trying to get over COVID-19. There are some studies showing that it is digressing, which we love that. And so that means what? Beaches, suntan lotion. It means sunshine. It means people going back out having fun. And even though that's the case, we still want to be able to help you to maintain safety. So we're going to be talking about traveling strategies, and we have in the studio with us today a guest from Perillo Tours, Linda Perillo. And so good morning and welcome to the show. Good morning, Linda. Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with you in just a moment.
Hello?
Good morning. We're doing a radio check. We're seeing if Linda Perillo is on the show.
Yes, it is. I'm right here.
Okay. And so welcome to the show. And so tell us a little bit about you, Linda.
Okay, so it depends on what aspect you want to know.
Okay, so what we do with our guests, we help the audiences to learn a little bit more about you as to why you got into travel.
Okay, that one's easy. So my father started Perillo Tours in 1945 with my grandfather, Joseph Perillo, in the Bronx. They started out doing immigration law, which at the time was very important for immigrants that came to America to be able to go back and forth to get their families and hopefully obtain a new life here. And when the immigration wave kind of fizzled, my father took the company to new heights because he loved Italy so much. And then he started the Perillo Tours in the Bronx in 1945, and then we moved to New Jersey. And so I am, I guess, first, second, third generation.
Okay, great. Second, third generation of Perillo Tours. Okay, great. And so kind of what inspired you to be able to do it? Was just like a family heirloom and you wanted to be able to continue?
Yeah, it's the bloodline. I couldn't escape it, but it's such an unbelievable, beautiful business to be in because it's just travel is just the best education you could ever have for yourself. It's the best education you could give your family. I don't care where you end up going. I don't care for how long. Every aspect about it is amazing.
Okay, great. So before we get into Perillo Tours, we wanted to be able to share with the audience the audience is looking for tips and tools as to traveling. We're somewhat out of the woods with COVID-19, but not all the way out of the woods. So in that retrospective, what would you consider as would be some safety tips that women could be able to utilize while traveling?
Well, I think there's a lot of things, I think, across the board that are being asked of travelers now. And, you can't just get on a plane. You can't even just get in the car and go somewhere the way we used to pre-COVID, right? Mm-hmm. So I think as a general advice for everybody who wants to travel, I think you need to really check to see what is required of you before you go. And that could be airlines, that could be hotels, it could be the destination itself, because I know some of the outlines for Italy, because that's our bread and butter. Italy, we're the number one tour operator to Italy in the world, right? But we also do Hawaii, we also do Spain. So Europe right now is starting to open up, and I think if you want to educate yourself as to the parameters of what every country is asking, I think you need to go online. I think if you're using a travel professional, they should be educated. And I think, the caveat is this, right? Vaccinated or not vaccinated. If you're going to attempt to travel, you have to be accepting of whatever the outline is, whatever the rubric that is expected of you to protect yourself and to protect others, whatever the destination is.
Okay, great. That's fair enough. Okay, so with Perillo Tours, we want to talk about that a little bit. So let's get into some of the meat and potatoes about Perillo Tours. We know it's Italy, it's Italian. Everybody loves to go there. And what have you. Everybody wants to go to Italy and relax. Usually, before it used to be, the Bahamas or something like that, or maybe Disney World or Disneyland. But people are changing their concept as to how they want to travel. It's more like a foreign entity that they want to be able to do. So tell us a little bit about Perillo Tours as to the meat and potatoes, of what the tourists will be able to get. I think we applied for it one time, and I don't know what happened, the reason why we couldn't be able to go, but I know we still receive literature and what have you in the mail in regards to this fantastic place where you can be able to go and experience even some biblical areas in Italy with this tour. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Italy has been really, and I think I said this before too, Italy has been our bread and butter, right? So, and I think part of the reason it's been our bread and butter is because there is an inherent love in my family for our roots. And so that, coupled with the fact that Italy is just the most magnificent place ever, and I've traveled a lot since I was a kid, it just keeps calling you back. And I think people, even without an Italian background, are lured into its beauty, its people, its food, the culture, the lifestyle, la dolce vita, right? Everything is is a lot slower there, but it makes you stop, right? It makes you stop, and it makes you understand. Like, they'll have an espresso in the middle of the day. We run into Dunkin' Donuts or to Starbucks, and we're like running back in the car. They don't know what that's like because they'll stop. And it's such a beautiful way to live your life, to enjoy your life. And I think that pretty much encompasses what Italy is and why people are so attracted to it. It's an amazing place. We've done other countries. We're doing Spain right now. We have done Ireland, which is another beautiful place to visit. But I think the call for us is always Italy. And, you bring up a good point. Travel is very available now. Even if you go back 20 years, 25 years, before the advent of all these, before the Internet, right? Now people can shop around for air, so they'll use us for land packages, which we're okay with. That's fine. We used to, at our inception, we started with air and land. We can still do air. with the land package. But I think more and more people, because they have miles, they have upgrades, it's becoming a little more tedious to put the whole package together. So we just said, look, we'll do it for you if you want it, but you also have the choice. You can use your own air. And I think, too, we have to kind of conform, right? You want business, you kind of have to conform with what's going on out there. We can't just say, hey, because we started out doing we were all groups when we started out, and we did not have a varied age range. Now people are coming on honeymoons. They're coming back for retirement. They're bringing their families. So, we're kind of evolving with the time and the availability of travel for people.
Okay, great. So here's another question, and this is in regards to the entrees and the food in Italy. Peter Falk, who played Columbo, is my favorite actor. Of course, he's deceased at this time. He was also Italian. And so I was watching one of the Columbo Mysteries episodes where he, I think, was at the British Scottish Yard or something like that, Scotland Yard, I'm sorry. And so they were serving, like, sandwiches and cheese and cold-cut type of meats for breakfast. So tell us a little bit about that as to the times of the meals, because people are going to want to know about that and things, because that would be frightening if someone is coming from the U.S., they're traveling to a different country that they don't know nothing about, and so
That's
all
right.
of a sudden, okay, you get donuts for dinner instead of for breakfast.
No. It's so funny. People, I think, one of the things people always say if they haven't been to Italy, right, they want to go there to eat.
Right.
Now, Italians love to eat. We eat for every occasion. You get up in the morning, you got to have a little something to eat. You're bored, you got to have a little something to eat. Oh, it's a funeral, we got to eat. You're sad, you got to eat. We conquer everything with food. I mean, that's just the way we are. And if you go to Italy, you'll understand why. The only thing I will tell you is that we have Americanized a lot of Italian dishes that they don't even know exist. They don't eat shrimp parmigiano. They don't eat chicken parmigiano. But their food is just, you will forget about shrimp parmigiano and chicken parmigiano once you go there and you eat. They're amazing. And, their breakfasts are very small. Usually it's coffee, cappuccino, something. They have started in hotels over the last few years to give the foreigners a buffet. And a lot of hotels will do that in the morning. I guess it kind of satisfies the needs of the Americans who really want to get up and have eggs and whatever else we eat, right? But then their big meal is lunch, and they will sit there for 2 or 3 hours having an amazing lunch. There's wine, there's pasta. We go primo piatto, which would be pasta. Then there's a, secondo piatto, which could be meat or a fish. And then frutta, which is fruit, then dolce, which is dessert or something sweet, very light though, and then cafe. And you always end your meal with a cafe, which is usually like espresso. And then in the evening, you're supposed to eat a lighter meal. I don't see too many tourists doing that, but you're supposed to, according to Italian tradition.
Pack on some pounds real quick.
Oh, my God. People will come home from tours and go, I gained 15 pounds. I'm like, okay, but did you eat the mozzarella? Then it was all worth it. You can gain the 15.
Okay, absolutely. So take us through a little bit about the coaching procedure. I know that individuals, when they are traveling, they have coaches and what have you. We're trying to get the audience to a place where they can feel comfortable in booking with Perillo Tours. So we want to give them all of the infrastructure from you, as to how some of the process will be able to, smooth out for them, and they can say, this is not as what we thought it was, because I know that a couple of the countries are kind of new. I remember Italy and Hawaii have been there. Hawaii has been there for a little while and things, but I think you all have added a couple of countries onto the Perillo Tours. So take us a little bit down the track a little bit as to how the coaching goes, because I think I spoke with a friend and they was like, oh yes, we went, but you got got to make sure that you're back on track.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
when they tell you to get back on track and what have you, or else you'll be left behind. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I always start it by saying, first of all, I mean, listen, this is what we started out doing. They were group tours. And, you know, I would tell somebody today in 2021, if you haven't been somewhere, anywhere, right, even myself, and I'm pretty well traveled, it's always a good idea to take a tour, because you don't know where you are. You're not familiar. You are, I mean, I'm fluent in Italian. I used to be fluent in Spanish. I have a little bit of French. But if someone dropped me off in the middle of France, I'd probably be lost. So, you know, if you can have the comfort, if you're not that much of an explorer, an inner explorer yourself, then I think a tour is great. Now, that being said, there's a lot of things that have changed because of COVID. So we don't even have a hard date. Italy's opening up for us, right? So, but we don't have a hard date as to when we can start groups yet, because nobody knows what the capacity limits anywhere are going to be. However, I will tell you, if you are going for the first time and you can get on a tour, it's the best thing. Is it regimented? Yes, because, you know, when we have tours, we have to get to places. One of our big mantras is that we'll get you there before the crowds. So using the Vatican as a base, we have special entry into the Vatican that other tour companies do not have, because the Vatican gets crowded and it's crazy. The line around St. Peter's, you'll be there all day just to get into the church, never mind getting into the Vatican Museum, never mind the artwork, never mind the Sistine Chapel. You'll never get in. We start you out at the Vatican, but you know what time you have to be there, 7 a.m. So, you know, yeah, you do. For that, you have to be there early. The Vatican is the biggest draw, I think, in Italy. I mean, whether you are Christian, whether you're not Christian, you know, travelers go there to imbibe in the artwork, in the sculpture, in just the immense beauty that St. Peter's brings. Not to mention the Sistine Chapel being an incredible piece of artwork. I mean, you know, it's the gold standard, right, for any historical painting.
Sure.
So, you know, there are drawbacks, but there's also good stuff, too. You're protected. You have somebody with you. You have a guide. You have an escort with you at all times. We don't keep you like a kid and say, now you have to be back. There's a curfew. We will do we otherwise no cappuccino tomorrow. We you know, we'll tell you the bus is leaving at a certain time. If you're a grown-up and you want to stay out in Rome and you don't want to get back on the bus, have the courtesy to tell the tour guide. You can take a cab back to the hotel. You know, always know where your hotel is. Always know the address. You know, it's stuff like that. But then, you know, the flip side is you get some beautiful dinners that are included. You have, I love the tours. I mean, my kids and I have gone even when they were babies, and we always had the best time.
Okay, great. So we want to, we've talked about breakfast, and we're going to get back to, we're going to go swap over to Hawaii in just a second, but we want to go to the nightlife. A lot of individuals, some people like nightlife and some people do not. Some people will, I done went out the whole day and I done exhausted myself or what have you, and so I'm through. But there are some people, they are wired up. They're just charged up. They like electric. I'll go the whole day. And so some individuals, they enjoy the nightlife. So tell us a little bit about that. And is that also supported through the coaching services that Perillo Tours offer?
Well, listen, I got to be honest with you. I have 8 kids, and the last time I ever saw nightlife was probably 25 years ago, before my son was born. So listen, you're talking to the wrong person about nightlife.
My goodness.
8 o'clock is good for 8 o'clock. Like, I'm out of here. But I will say, coordinating that with the question, you know, I think once you do a very long day of touring, I mean, you're up. On a good day, you got to be out at the bus probably 8 or 8:30, and that's considered late. You know, and by the time you walk around, by the time you stop, because even when you're on the bus, we try to, especially like our northern tour, which was always classically our busiest tour because we just went from place to place to place in like 14 days, place to place to place. And, it's not just getting on the bus in the morning and going to your next destination. Sometimes you'll stop. You'll stop to see Padova. You'll stop to see, it's always a church, 9 times out of 10. You're tired. By the time dinner's done, you're tired. So, I mean, from my perspective, like, if you want nightlife, the best thing to do before you leave, the internet is your best buddy, is to go online and say, I'm interested in, I don't know, the disco balls of Rome, whatever. There could be something, and they will tell you where to go. Because I can't personally give you any advice on nightlife, but I will tell you this. Some of the most beautiful times in Italy are nighttime, and they could be just visiting the Fontana di Trevi, the Trevi Fountain in Rome. At night is lit up. It is packed with tourists, but it is gorgeous. And you throw your 3 coins in the fountain, and, you pray for wealth and love and whatever else you're asking God for, and you throw your coins in. Maybe you'll get it. Venice, any place with a piazza in Venice, St. Mark's Square, Piazza San Marco is amazing at nighttime. They have different bands playing at all the different cafes that go around the outside of the square. I mean, and those are all amazing nightlife type of things. So, again, it has to be, what are you geared for? What do you want to do? Do a little research. But, Italy just has something for everybody.
Okay, I'm sure, because even when you explained about the Vatican, I'm pretty sure that is an overcrowded event, and I'm pretty sure that I just was not aware that people had to stand in line that long. But I would, I think that would make sense as to, trying to get in and trying to tour everything on the inside of the Vatican. So that is wonderful. That is wonderful. Yeah. So we're going to We're going to move to the next segment, and we're going to talk about Hawaii. We want to talk about those oceans. So what are the tours consistent to in Hawaii, and what can tourists expect in regards to the coaching? Is it the same thing? Is the layout the same way as Italy, or is it a little bit different because of different tropical seasons? Because I think Hawaii kind of has like a certain tropical temperature, and I'm pretty sure Italy has its own demographics as well. So what is the coaching like there?
Well, Italy and Hawaii are a complete contrast as far as tours go, okay? Italy is, and it just beckons for travelers that want to be busy, and they want to see sights, and they want to, get smothered in the history of Italy and the history of Europe, and that's awesome, right? But when somebody picks up and chooses to go to Hawaii, that is a completely different animal. So Hawaii... You go to Hawaii because you want to lay on a beach, because you want to go to a luau, because you want sun and you want warmth and you want, just to hang out. So I think with the exception of Oahu, even on an organized tour, the other islands are pretty much made for that. Because if you go to Oahu and you go to Honolulu, Honolulu does have a lot of history. We go to Pearl Harbor. You can snorkel in Hanauma Bay. There's a lot of stuff to do there. But when you get to the other islands, it's a little quieter, and you can almost choose what you want to do. If you want to get up and go for the tour, if there's an organized tour that day, you can. Most of the hotels that we operate with will have breakfast included in the morning. And Hawaii, I have to tell you, carried us through COVID. When we couldn't get into Italy, we were very, very, very fortunate to have Hawaii. And nobody knows that Perillo does Hawaii, but we've been doing it for 30-plus years. So now we're on the map with Hawaii, and it's a fantastic destination. One thing I tell people always about Hawaii that they love to hear, and you have to remember, we want to travel when we go for sun and fun. We want to go to the Caribbean, right? We always think Caribbean first, and people always say, yeah, I want to go to Hawaii one day, but it's so far. But you remember, when you travel to Hawaii, especially at a time like now when we're dealing with the pandemic and, slowly coming out of it, you are still, it's paradise. You're in the Pacific, it's gorgeous, but you're still within the confines of the United States. Not the continental United States, right? It's not the mainland, but it is still one of our 50 states, and you are protected there with everything, that an American has protection with. And you can go to a store, and you can do all these things that maybe if you went outside of the country, you wouldn't be able to do. So that's why I think Hawaii is just a win-win across the board.
Absolutely. The audience and I could sit here and talk to you all day long, Linda, okay? All day long. So with the volcanoes, we want to talk about that and things. So is that part of something? Is that something that the tourists would have to do on their time of leisure, or is that something included in the tourist package of Hawaii with the tourists?
Well, again, I have to be very honest with you, because we've had to revamp so many itineraries, in the past 2 years, really. The best advice I'm going to give you on something like that's specific, is to go on the website, or you can call into the office. And actually, my son, who is, if I'm third generation, my son is fourth. I'm sorry, I'm on the phone. My son is fourth generation, and he is working for us also, and he is in the office, and he is always happy to answer questions. If you think I can talk, so can he. I taught him well.
Okay, great, perfect. The fruit don't fall far from the tree. So let's talk about the food. So I know Italy is more of your primary place where you tour and what have you with your family and what have you. So is there anything that you could be able to share with us, with the audience, in regards to the food in Hawaii? What is it like as far as breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Is it something accustomed to America's? Because most of our audience is from Australia and the U.S. So
okay, great.
Just kind of if you can take I think it's Australia, the UK, it's mostly from that Great Britain and what have you. So from there, what would the food be like versus someone from the UK? I'm not for sure what their meals are, but from the United States, which is our primary audience.
Okay, so Hawaii is pretty basic, right? So you have to paint a picture of where you are. They have their natural resources, because they have two things going on. First of all, they need to get stuff from what they call is the mainland, right, the continental United States, and they need to import to the islands. But what Hawaii does have that's amazing, and yes, is it more Americanized? 100%. They are very, very fish-friendly, right? They are fish-friendly. They are fruit-friendly. They are vegetable-friendly. And I think that gives everyone a huge variety to choose from. Breakfast in the hotel, a lot of them are buffets. Again, I don't know now with COVID restrictions how they're doing that, but you can get you can get omelets, you can get fruit, gorgeous fruit. Lots of fish. They have good meat because they do have some farming on some of the islands, and their food is so fresh and so good. I think some of my best meals next to Italy. Italy's by itself. But next to Italy, I mean, Hawaii has awesome cuisine, and I think there's something there for everybody. Like one of my favorite restaurants ever is on Maui. It's Cheeseburger in Paradise. Jimmy Buffett sang about Cheeseburger in Paradise, and it's a great place to go. If you want bars and nightlife, Hawaii is awesome for stuff like that because they do have a lot of bars. It's very laid back. Their mantra is hang loose. They're not very fancy. It's just a gorgeous, you're in paradise. It's a gorgeous kickback with good food food, good drinks, and it's, again, if you're in the United States and you want to stay in the United States, it's a win-win.
Okay. Wow, great. So with both of the tours, you know, a lot of individuals, real estate, they offer different packages also for individuals who are traveling, you know, for rentals and what have you. So and I'm not for sure if this is something that is accepted in the country of Italy, but what about Hawaii? Do they accept, like, you know, vacation packages, rental properties, and what have you? What is the real estate like if you know, in that area in the country of Hawaii?
Okay, well, we do vacation packages, right? So we're organized. So we're a tour, as opposed to being a travel agent, we are a tour operator. So the meat and potatoes for us are tours. We can arrange pretty much anything you want, but if you're going through us, we're obviously going to recommend a package, right? It's a lot easier to move around when you do that. Again, a lot of people feel safer. Then there are people that want to explore, and I think there are a lot. I have actually looked into it for myself with my kids, just to rent a house. You can. You can go on all the websites that have rentals, like VRBO and Airbnb, and again, they're out there. Is that something that we do? Not necessarily. No, we stick with what we know.
Okay, that's cool.
But
that's
I think Hawaii's been great with tourism. They've been very open. They have restrictions, but they've been pretty good throughout this whole thing.
Okay, great. Okay, so we want to talk a little bit about Spain. As you stated, Hawaii kind of got attached on as a tourist location some 30 years ago or what have you, because I remember in my younger years that it was just Italy at first. And so now we want to talk about Spain a little bit, even though it was included and added on with Perillo Tours. So take us a little bit about, instead of just asking 1, 2, 3 questions, I'm just going to ask one question and let you sum it up in just one answer. And so we want to kind of get into that just a little bit about the food, the nightlife, and then also, too, if you would, Linda, touch on a little bit about the currency in each one of the countries, because I think that is kind of very important as well. So take, for example, this happened in the United States. So they were going on a tour, not to another country, but it was, I think, to the state of California. So they was not aware of the currency set up there, but they had to pay for ice cream, and I think it was a cookie. And, of course, it was $14, which we're not complaining about that. But they forced them to pay with a debit card. So we want to kind of touch on that, so it won't be any surprises. I think that's a lot of things that people are doing now. They're trying to force Americans or what have you. I don't know what's going on in the United States. I'm pretty sure it'll come out in the government legislation as to why they're trying to force everybody to go digital. So kind of touch on that, and then touch on a little bit about Spain with the nightlife. And I know I'm asking a whole lot of questions, but just kind of touch on that a little bit and the currency in each country.
Oh, okay. So let me think about what you just asked, and I'll try to formulate some kind of organized answer in my head, because I'm terrible with money. Somebody asked me for $14 for an ice cream. I'm like, okay. Cookie? Did you say a cookie? Oh, an extra $3? No problem. Like, that's me. And when I'm on vacation, you multiply that by 10. Then I'm like, whoa, I don't care because I'm free, right? So, you have to be, what did Cy Sims used to say? An educated consumer is our best customer. Know where you're going. Know what the currency is, right? Know what you're getting into. Because in Europe right now, I think with the exception, I believe, of Greece and definitely the UK, they're using the euro. So back in the day, I believe Spain was a peseta, and Italy was the lira. So everyone had their own calculations as per the exchange for the dollar. Okay, the one thing about Europe that's great, that makes it easy to travel through the EU, is that the currency is uniform. So, but that said, sometimes in Europe, especially because of the pandemic and especially what they've endured, with the bottoming out of tourism for 2 years. I mean, they depend on it. Spain, Italy, any place that we go, you're going to see that some prices, probably with the exception of Greece, because Greece's economy is totally different. They need money. They need tourism. So, again, I think the basic blanket answer to this is be smart. Be able to walk away. Europe is known for haggling. Then they will, I don't care if you're from the United States, I don't care where you're from, sometimes they will pin a tourist down and try and get what they can out of them. And, it's not good, but I also think be smart, right? If they're asking you for a debit card instead of cash, I'm not sure the reasoning, but I will tell you this. Your debit card will probably be charged 3% more, I believe, the same as they would do with a credit card. So, is the ice cream that important there? No. There's in Italy, there's a gazillion gelaterias. In Spain, it's probably the same thing. Be able to walk away, just be smart. And I think you just have to educate yourself before you leave. Don't go in blindly. As far as Spain is another beautiful country. It reminds me a lot of Italy. One of the most beautiful cities I've ever seen is Barcelona. We were just there actually 2 summers ago before this whole thing started. It's fabulous. It is unfortunate that we really didn't have a launch for it. Like, we weren't really able to get our package off the ground because of the pandemic. So we're trying again as Europe opens up. We're trying, and I have to tell you, if you can afford to do Spain with Italy, they're very close to each other, and they're very, very similar in culture and in the Mediterranean culture. That's a beautiful, beautiful combination. So I love both countries. I love Spain a lot. I spent the summer there once as an exchange student. It was absolutely gorgeous.
Okay, great. So let the listeners know how they can be able to follow you. We're at the end of the segment, and we want them to be able to see if they can follow you, any books that you would like to share that you have written, any classes. We allow the guests to be able to share whatever that they need to be able to share with the audience, any social media platforms. This way the audience can continue to network with the guests after the show.
Okay, great. Well, my Facebook is public, so it's Linda Perillo. You can look that up on Facebook. And also I have 2 blogs. One is therealhipmom.com. The other one, which is totally unrelated to travel or anything, is called thebenevolentcaterer.com, because I set up a non-for-profit during COVID to bring meals to the needy. And I am working on a book, so maybe it'll get out there. And the biggest website is perillotours.com. That's where you're going to find everything about us, our family history, all our tours. And I'm telling you, now's the time to go. Get off the couch, get out, do whatever you have to do for COVID, find your COVID-free flights, do your COVID testing, and let's start moving again.
Perfect. Audience, we have learned a lot from Linda, who is the 3rd generation of Perillo Tours. We've learned about Hawaii. We've learned about Spain. We've also talked about Italy, and then we talked about all of the meals that you can be able to enjoy, the difference in between the meals from America, the UK, and what have you. You have to kind of apply some things, and as she stated to you, you have to do your research before you travel. You got an opportunity to learn about their coaching procedures, protocol, and process, and then you also got an opportunity to learn about the currency in all 3 countries. She has given you the tools and resources that you need and how to travel during COVID and even after COVID. Linda, thank you so much for being our guest.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. We have really enjoyed you as a guest today. So, guests, you already know where to go. You can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Women Who Rock with Success, and then you'll see there who's going to be the next guest on the show. And then, of course, we have the Women Who Rock Investigates, and you can be able to go to our Facebook page there or to our website at www.womenwhorockwithsuccess.com. Everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you. Have a great one.